Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call law, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakal Kadash, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakal Kadash, Barakathum. Double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you, brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. A sincere Habathum Sequoium. Also, blessed salutations to the innumerable multitude and the weak there amongst tares. As you see, it goes on. Israel is back at it again. Man, they don't stop. All right, so the Lord is revealing, the BS that's going on in this world, and the BS behind the Swiss cheese of misinformation of prophecy and theology, for lack of better words. All right, it says, Micah chapter 4, verse 1, it says, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord, which is who? Israel. Okay, those so-called Israelis in the land pretending to be us, if they were us, hypothetically, this prophecy is supposed to address them, right? It says, but in the last days it shall come to pass, the last days, key word, that the mountain of the house of the Lord, which is Israel, shall be established in the top of the mountains. That's strike number one. They're not established at the top of the mountain, not economically, okay? But they are running everything. It's crazy because the country itself is not running everything economically, but the Rothschilds, which are Amalekites, are running things economically. So it's a catch-22, but it's not. The way they're doing it is on the left-hand side. This doesn't apply to them, okay? It says, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it. Yet people aren't flowing unto Israel. People, as you see, they're destroying. They're flowing into it to bring destruction, okay? It says, and many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways. Yeah, they're not. You got Muslims around you. You got Christians around you. You got, pretty much these people that are coming up against you and surrounding you, whether they're cordial or in adversity to you. They're not. There's still a bunch of religions going on. Because in the kingdom of heaven, New Jerusalem, there isn't going to be any other, so-called religions or gods. Everybody's going to be serving Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, okay? It says, verse 2, it says, and many nations shall come and say, Salaki, I read that. It says, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, you see? So is that happening now? No. Okay, so how are these the people? Because we were excommunicated from that land. As it say in verse 1 again, says, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills. Okay, that's this prophesied on top of that we're going to go back to our land, inherit our land, and rule the nations in peace. You know what I'm saying? Okay, and the people that are in that land right now, there's no peace in this world. You know what I'm saying? There's no peace for them. There's no peace for everybody else. So how are they the true children of Israel? And now these times are currently exposing it. That's why anybody that don't believe that the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are Israelites, and they are Israelites, you have no choice but to be destroyed. Your mind is clearly blocked because there's tons of information that discredits that. Okay, it says, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. There's nuclear missiles still active. There's guns that are being sold out or scarce because people are buying them up. You know what I'm saying? This is not the time that this is happening, right? So why is it still happening if they're the true people of Israel? That means they're not. Okay, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And it's crazy because the world, even our own people, don't want us to be Israelites and go back to our land. They like to mock us and talk stuff. But once we inherit our land and get back into our heritage, it will bring peace on earth. Like, how do you not want peace? Anybody that hears that and say, oh, all we got to do is get them reestablished back. That's a prophecy being fulfilled to bring peace on earth. That shows you people rather, selfishly, especially these other nations, they rather rule and do it the best way they can and not get peace than to let Israel rule and get and bring peace. It says, but they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree. What that mean? That pretty much they're going to, nations going to go back to their own nations. You know what I'm saying? Ammon going to deal with Ammon, or Ammon going to be, in their land, and Moab going to be in their land. Canaan going to be in their land. Okay? And none shall make them afraid, because ain't nobody going to say, you're a war on, it's a war on this, a war on that, domestic terrorism, or this war on terrorism, making up false allegations, okay? Because all the people in the world gonna keep the law of the Lord, and they're gonna live in peace. Ain't nobody gonna come over there and tell out, oh, I heard you doing something. We about to bring an army for nothing. It says, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts have spoken it. For all people will walk everyone in the name of his God. It's like for all people will walk everyone in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of our Lord, our power forever and ever. In that day, saith the Lord, will I assemble her that halteth, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. And that's talking about us, man. The Lord's going to gather us back to our land, and I will make her that halted and a remnant, and her that cast far off a strong nation, and the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion, okay, from henceforth and forever, okay. So this is the prophecy. So why is this happening? Why is this happening right now? You know why? Because it's BS. You know what I'm saying? They're the fakes. They're not the real. They're not the legit thing. Because if they were legit, prophecies are come to pass. Things will change. And it's not. And it's not for a reason. So I just wanted to put that out there. Hopefully it's edifying. Once they call Law Yahbashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, Yahbashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, Brakatham, Shalom.